Hey folks, it's another Aussie Maxo and show number 53. I'm Jason, joining you for another week of Apple News. And with me, as always, is Michael. How are you, Michael?
Good, mate. Good. Bit brisk, but looking forward to it.
I guess that's to be expected in the middle of winter.
Yes. Yes,
So
very true.
Yes. So we're without Glenn tonight. He's off on other duties. But when it comes to Apple News, I think we've got it pretty much covered. And a little bit happening at the moment, isn't there, Michael? We're actually, maybe in coming up to September, a few things are starting to leak out.
Apple's still there, and there's a couple of interesting ones, yes, especially the screen one, which is later on in the show. It's very interesting.
Yes, and I guess kicking off, there's a little bit about Tim and his vision for Tim's Apple, I guess, maybe coming a little bit out of the shadows of Steve. And I guess, in the first couple of years, there weren't too many changes and it looked pretty much like the company that Steve had set up. But in recent times, I guess Tim's putting his own stamp on things and showing that he's doing things a little bit differently, and I guess agreeing to buy back shares, and I think also offering dividends for the first time, as well as maybe not being quite as aggressive, I guess, with Google as Steve was in having a holy war with them.
Yes,
and I guess also in some of the hiring he's been making to also, I guess, show that he's will put faith in bringing senior people in. It's not just a one-man show. It's he's built a good team around him, and I think relies on them well. And I guess that came out in the last keynote. I think beforehand it was very much a Steve show, wasn't it? But now
yes.
Everyone comes out and plays their part, and Craig Federighi was certainly the star of the last show, I guess.
Well, he's the big developer man, and it was his show. Definitely, Tim was there just to do the little intros and show that he's there and he knows what he's doing. But it's interesting that they're showing a more closed, open approach, shall we say? Because they're definitely still closed, but they're opening up, like we say, for handoff, making that available. The Touch ID, they're making that available. All things that are important to people that want to create apps, and I think they've done it the right way.
Yeah, it's certainly a very secure ecosystem. So, did they have this plan from the start? Look, maybe the architecture, it's certainly there, and if it was by accident, someone someone's thought this out very well, I think. And I mean, you go back to 2007 when the iPhone first came out, and there was meant to be no apps at all. It was around web apps were the way of the future. But I mean, looking at what's coming out now and how it's supported, and just how well, look, as you say, it's sort of closed but open. That yes, we'll expose these aspects of the operating system, will allow you to use them, but you can just see how well managed it is, and everything's still segregated. It's got all the layers of security, but you can expose just enough to make it useful. Where in iOS 8, you're going to be able to finally share information between applications. But unlike Android, it's not just okay. You have access to everything, the whole operating system, and the whole file system. Essentially, it's still a very well planned, well thought out ecosystem, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder where, you got to go right back to when the iPhone first came out, and that made them rewrite Android. I wonder if they were just caught napping so much that they've thrown it together without actually saying, all right, what's the security ramification of that right at the beginning? Whereas with the Linux-based side of things, that it's always been the security has been a primary question forever, hasn't it, with Linux?
Yeah, that's right. It's I guess it is a class as a secure operating system, but I guess it's sort of also the operating system of choice by the gurus. So it's sort of assume that you know what you're doing, and maybe translating that Unix operating system straight onto a phone where you've got phone users there, not the neckbeard Unix gurus.
Yeah.
Install a new app, access to everything. Yeah, why not? Why not? Why not? And it's almost like the intent's there for it to be secure, but you're putting it in the hands of the developers and users, I guess. And it falls down to ease of use of it's easy for developers to say, look, just give me access to everything, because I know I'm not going to have weird things happening with permissions and that. And from a user's perspective, they do the same things, like, just want to use this new app. Give me, I'll give you access to it. And it undoes any security that was intended or was built in. So, Apple, with a little bit more thought and time, it's going to allow you access to things that you need to, but nothing you don't. And maybe it's the Apple knows best mentality again. It's like, well, we'll help control that a little bit, but once it gets out of the bag, I guess a little bit like Android is now, it's damn hard to put back together and build things on top of it. So I still think it's just been a very well planned execution by Apple, and I guess slowly they're releasing or opening up bit by bit.
And there was, in one of the updates that just came out, I'm not sure whether it was for 10.8 or one of the iOS or Yosemite updates, but they obviously found a leak where it, what do they call it? Sorry, I've forgotten the word. How like we're in sand pit, enclosed area, and they'd found a leak, so you could obviously get from one app to the other. So they'd closed that. That was in one of the updates. So they're obviously on it and keeping it up and making sure that it doesn't happen. So
yeah, I guess there's always little things that are occurring like that. So that's the I guess what we say to everyone out there, to make sure that you patch and take the updates as they come through to keep on top of these things. And I guess speaking of iOS 8, there's a little bit of news that you had around the fabled health app getting a little bit more information about that's coming out, I guess, with some new data categories.
Yeah, and sorry, sandboxing was the word I was trying to think of. It just went away from it. But so with the release of iOS Beta 3 Monday our time, Apple continued to build out its forthcoming health app. So we're getting a bit more information. So now that the iPhone 5S, the M7 coprocessor, can now measure your steps, which it hasn't actually done as yet, using the accelerometer and the gyroscope. So they've also got in the app, there's one part that measures caffeine intake. So Jawbone's got an Up Coffee, which is an app that keeps you an idea of how much coffee you have during the day. So that appears to have a position in the new health app as well. So that's at least two things we know the phone can do straight away, just by merging a couple of apps together to give us one place for one set of information. So, and there was
that's interesting.
And there was a new cup released in America. It's a Kickstarter one, I believe, or a Indiegogo or one of those. And it's actually got a sensor in it. It actually measures the content of your drink. So if you're having a Coke, you'd pour your Coke in there and it'd say, all right, that's Coke and that's got so many, 14 spoons of sugar in it. And or if you're having a coffee, it knows how much coffee and how much sugar you're having. And it's
Okay.
about $150. But I don't know what happens if your sensor gets corrupted. I don't know. But it measures all your information. And so that will definitely find its way onto the health kit framework somewhere along the line, I'd reckon.
Yes, and I guess also in recent times there's been the I guess in the health apps and wearables or watches. I guess it's a category of wearables. Is the Microsoft one coming out, which funnily enough had the same number of sensors as the rumored Microsoft one has the same rumored number of sensors as the rumored Apple Watch of 11, but. The rumor is that the Microsoft one is going to be open to all operating systems, be it iOS, Android, or if anyone's using a Microsoft operating system on their phone, and maybe just hedging their bets there, Microsoft.
You'd have to, wouldn't you? Like you couldn't say, well, it can only get used on Windows Phone. That'd be just. You wouldn't sell enough to break even, would you? Even like allowing for 2 years' time when Windows Phone catches up some more.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, it's hard to, it's really hard to say. I mean, it's certainly not a bad operating system, but I think it's just too late to the market. So, Apple and Google have taken the market share, and it's just really hard to catch up. But funnily enough, I guess the it's still Nokia, Microsoft Nokia. They're still developing Android phones, and maybe around for the same reason that can they really afford to drop that off and just do Windows mobile type phones, because there's obviously economies of scale in the hardware manufacturer, and they still need to be getting the handsets out there. But funny thing is, with the latest iteration of the Android one, they've got Microsoft services in there, obviously, rather than the Google services. The browser, because there isn't an IE version for Android, they put Opera on there.
That's
right. I guess that's the they can't put anything Google on there, so I guess that's the lesser of the evils. But I think Opera were the people in the where did where you had to do the browser selection. That all started in Europe, didn't it? And that started that was started by Opera, wasn't it? To have the voting for your browser. So I guess they see Opera as the lesser of the enemies out of them and Google.
Well, I don't think they can put anything Google on it because they've bagged them with those ads so much that saying that they're spying on you and that sort of thing for Google. They can't put any Google product on, otherwise they'll be going against what they've told people is happening.
Yeah. That's something, I guess, in the category of hedging your bets. Then, as to having a foot in a few camps there. But again, it's good to you want some competitors in the marketplace, though. So you do want Microsoft to still keep a reasonable foothold there, because it keeps pushing everyone to come out with newer and better things. So you sort of wouldn't want to see it disappear and there be. Well, certainly you wouldn't want one dominant one, but even just with Google, I think there's and Apple,
certainly a good.
Oh, it's just say even just with Google and Apple, they might get a little bit complacent between themselves, just to have a little bit of a disruptor there in the background, keeping everyone honest.
Yeah, that's right. But I was going to say Google and Apple are having a good fight at the moment because the number of APIs they both just released at their two developer conferences was massive.
Yeah, and of course we're yet to see the benefit of that because, again, as you say, developer conferences, we're yet to see what the developers do with it. And as you were saying before, the fingerprint one, especially for payments and things like that, I think that's really the start of something big. So I guess when we see iOS 8 released, we see all the new hardware, because you can imagine that in September now, all of the iPhones, iPads, iPod touches are all going to have the fingerprint sensor on them. As to what that means, as a means of second factor authentication around your banking, PayPal, all of that kind of stuff. Notwithstanding the fact that how many millions of credit card numbers does Apple have? To run their they can be running their own payment system. So I think
imagine how much time people are spending trying to crack into Apple, like the baddies. You know what I mean? Like, because they're trying to crack into banks all the time, and
yeah, well, that's right. If there's money to be made, there's certainly the incentive there, isn't there? So
yeah,
that's interesting. But some people aren't so happy are the Finns in the Finns in Finland, because Apple's taken all of their jobs. So not only have they been responsible for knocking out Nokia, but also the forestry industries. It's probably a little bit of
two for one.
That's right. Maybe a little bit of a stretch there. So the iPhone killed off Nokia, and they're saying the iPad killed off their forestry.
Off the forestry industry. Yeah.
I thought though that they would they'd be greenies there, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be wanting to cut down all of their trees.
Yeah, that might be their neighbours, the Swiss, and not the. I don't know, but yeah, he's getting into it. Saying it's interesting. He says right at the end that we shouldn't create the illusion that the state can create growth. I didn't think the state ever created growth. It was just some business people got in there at the right time, but.
Yeah, well, Prime Minister Alex Alexander Stubb wasn't very happy, but actually that's funny. Just on the size of economies and that, I'm just wondering in terms of revenue, etc., how Apple would actually compare to the country of Finland. One imagines it might be. It might be pretty close.
Yes.
Certainly with some smaller countries.
Maybe they should be developing their apps people a bit like their in-house technical people, like their unis or something, to get their app, the developers going again. Maybe they just got a little bit complacent. So
where's Opera based? Are they in Finland?
Oh.
maybe they can launch off a browser again.
Yes.
It's actually interesting enough in just with relation to the Finnish economy. Nokia in the day actually contributed significantly, like in percents, to the actual whole GDP of Finland. So that's probably why they're a little bit upset. It obviously was a quite large company in the time. I mean, everyone had Nokias, so the old 5110 and such things. It was certainly the phone of choice for for a fair while there.
It's interesting because their GDP in 2007 or 2008 was 272 billion. Then it went down to 239, 235. Went up a bit again to 263, and it's gone back down again to in 2012 to 250. So is that why he's basically blaming Apple? Straight away it went down after the phone came out.
Well, yeah, actually just looking here, Apple's worldwide annual revenue in 2013 totaled 170 billion. So it's actually It's getting
half.
yeah.
More than half.
It's getting up there, isn't it? So maybe Apple will just buy them out. Surely
Yeah.
Tim wants to own a country.
Country.
At least he wouldn't have any tax problems there.
Yeah. Well, they can probably buy Ireland anyway, can't they?
That's right.
Yeah.
And of course, on Tuesday nights we have Aussie Mac Zone, but on Thursday nights Aussie Tech Heads. And look, I guess they do speak about some non-Apple tech issues as well, don't they, Michael? But we'll let them get away with that.
Yes. They need as much help as they can with all of that.
That's right. There might be a few Google or NBN stories on there, but they do a little bit of Apple as well. So that's always a good listen on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
What else have we got tonight in the world of Apple? Maybe a tip of the week we might be up for, I reckon.
Yes. Well, I found this one, and it's one of those ones you just, unless someone points it out, you don't really see it. So, and it's grouping files in a folder in a flash. Like, so if you've got some folders and some files on your desktop, and you just scroll over the top of all of them, and then right-click it, and your option is to put them all. And I right-click it. It gives me new folder with selection. So I selected 8 items. Just then, very simply, right-click it, new folder with a selection, and bang, there it is, new folder. They're all in there. Just name the folder, crap from desktop, and away I went. So it's just to consolidate those things. But a lot of people just miss it when you think, oh, what's the advantage of that? But it's just one of those time-saving things. Or if you're going through a lot of photos from one party,
that would be a big thing, wouldn't it? You tend to get a lot of photos together, and you got hundreds or thousands in a directory. You sort of just grab them via a date or a month or something, and sort of just group them down a little bit.
Or as you know, you can also go down a list. Yeah, when you're going down a list, you can click the top one, hold down the Shift key, and click the 10th one down to select all 10. Or you can, if you use the Command key, you can click 1, skip 1, click the next one, skip 2, click the next one, just by holding the Command key down. That's another one that people aren't aware of, is how easy it is to just go down and individually select items, but keep them all selected, and then just make one folder out of that.
A good little housekeeping tip to keep things under control. And
yes,
you mentioned before, I think the desktop's one that if you're anything like me, when I'm working on stuff, I just save and drop everything onto the desktop, because I want to know where it is if I'm working on something. But yeah, that's a good way to clean up afterwards when you go back. And there's lots of things on the desktop that even if you want to get back to it later, you can just select them and right click, just put them together in a little folder to come back later to tidy up. And
just on that too, be aware that if you've got lots and lots of items on your desktop, it does slow the Mac down. So I've seen someone accidentally put 4,500 items on their desktop recently, and it stopped the Mac from working. So just totally stopped it from working. Easy to fix, but you just got to boot off another drive and go and select it that way. That way, their operating system's not getting overfilled by that desktop information.
Kludged down by all those files sitting on there.
Yeah. So it was a quick fix once we got to the machine with another drive. But just be aware of that. Whatever you got on your desktop will affect the speed of your computer.
That's a handy tip. What else have we got happening here? iPhone 6 Sapphire display emerges unscathed from brutal scratch test. So this isn't another one of these Blender ones, is it?
No. It's there's a link there which we can put out later on, which is a YouTube video where this guy, his Marcus Brownlee, so he's actually showed a lot of new iPhone 6 stuff. I don't know where he gets it from, but he had what is supposed to be an iPhone 6 Sapphire display, and he was stabbing it with a knife, trying to scratch at the knife, getting his keys out, give him a bash and scratch around. And then he was also had it under his foot and was lifting it up, trying to break it, and was bending in an arc, but it wasn't breaking. So it was quite amazing to watch if anyone gets the chance to do that. So maybe we've got something to look forward to. Screens that don't break.
That would be a treat for everyone, I think. I think most of us have suffered through that. Phones tend to get a lot of harsh treatment, don't they? Of in the pockets with the keys, or slipping out of the pockets onto the ground and bouncing a few times. So we'll put that up in the show notes, and those videos are always quite entertaining, if nothing else.
And then just further on another rumor, seeing as how the iPhone 6 hasn't even been announced, so apparently there's about a 15% increase in battery life over an iPhone 5S. For people that's important, because there was also another survey somewhere, and the main thing people wanted wasn't actually a bigger screen; they wanted more battery life from their phone. So that was interesting. Even though everyone says need a bigger screen, the biggest request was for actually more battery life. So
I think everyone will get both of those wishes.
Yes, yeah, not too much bigger, but
just the story I was trying to recall when we were speaking just a while ago. Something else around might have been around Kickstarter. Did you come across the one around iFind, which it's up on Kickstarter, and it's around being a battery-free Bluetooth location tag. So, we've seen the those little location finder things that come out, but they have a battery in them, and they last 12 months. This is meant to be battery free, and it's meant to have a range of so it uses Bluetooth, maybe Bluetooth low energy, but it's meant to have a detection range of 60 meters, but it harvests free energy from the air.
No, I hadn't heard of that one.
I was listening to another podcast, and something made me think of it before. But I think it's got like about 10,000 backers and $500,000. So I mean, we all know RFID, but RFID tags we know are not pad, and it relies upon your phone or some kind of unit, emitting energy, and the RFID tag picks it up, with its antenna, and allows some communication to occur. But obviously, the distance at which that happens, is very small. But this is talking about a range of 60 meters, and the tag is unpad, and you're meant to it is meant to be detectable via Bluetooth. It doesn't. Now I know in the past
how it works.
There has been stuff in Kickstarter that gets taken down, but I mean this one's been up for a while, and so maybe it was on one of the Twit podcasts I was listening to where they were talking about it, but it doesn't sound right, does it? I mean, even normal Bluetooth. I mean, what's the normal range for that? That's 60 meters would be starting to push that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 200 feet. So getting the radio waves is, don't know. I wouldn't have thought there was that much power floating around to work as a transmitter
in the air.
Yeah,
because it's non-powered. I mean, and it's meant to be, like you can stick it to things to be able to find them.
And would that mean that as soon as he releases another product with the same idea that it's only half as, or it takes twice as long to charge because you've used up that many radio waves on your. If you've got one on your wallet and one on your dog, does that mean they take twice as long to charge because it's using radio waves on the dog and some of the radio waves on your wallet? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there's obviously radiation in that in the air, but I wouldn't have thought enough to generate the kind of power it needs. I mean, that would have to transmit something, to be able to be picked up via Bluetooth. And I just can't see how it, how that would work. It doesn't seem as though it obeys the laws of physics. It would be great if it did, but yeah, this is an interesting one. Just something made me think of it before.
Yes.
So, yeah. Oh well, I guess that's the pros and cons of Kickstarter, isn't it? It takes all kinds.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier also about apps and like how long it takes to gain things from, like when they released all these APIs. How soon we should get something produced from those APIs.
Yeah.
And there's a story about some of they have student scholarships that go to worldwide developers conferences. So I think there was 200 at this year's. Last year there was, I think, the same number. There was three kids sitting there last year at the Worldwide Developers Conference last year, and they were trying to come up with something ingenious for iOS 7, and they've come up with an idea that gives you surround sound using your iPhone. So
what through the headphones or through the speakers of the iPhone?
Through the speakers, from what I can gather. Yeah, by creating a peer-to-peer Wi-Fi network, the other phones can join and one person can play music, and then they all get the same stream simultaneously. And the host device acts as the broadcaster, and the other join as listeners. So, sort of like a Sonos system, but for each individual phone.
That's kind of cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and they got that from when they were sitting during the session from the front because they were so excited, something with the technology, and after some brainstorming, the idea just came to us, said one of them. So, yeah. But they've only just released it, so that's 12 months. But obviously,
that's
from go to woe for students. They're not full-time employees or anything. Too. They've obviously got to still pass their exams and do their other training to stay on top of it. So
that would be interesting to see that one in action.
Yeah, especially if you've got a couple of phones lying around.
Yeah, that's right.
You've updated, you just stick them in those docks, and you got a house Sonos system.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, and probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be much more expensive. That Sonos doesn't come cheaply.
Right. Even if you bought the phones, it'd probably be the same.
That's right. It is a nice system, but quite expensive. Yeah, I've often thought around that because I guess as we go off on another tangent around a whole of house audio, of obviously Sonos. It's it just
leader.
It's done that way. But thought around airport expresses with speakers, because I guess in the later iterations of iTunes and you can remote control that through your mobile phone or iPad. You can select the different devices in the house, or whether it be an Apple TV or Airport Express or another another device that shows up. You can go and essentially select what device you want to play your music on, and the volume around it. So you could build your own, I guess, couldn't you, using Airport Expresses, and it'd have to be paired speakers, wouldn't it? Because they've got a have they got both a 3.5mm analog and also digital out as well?
No, I think they've only don't they still only have 3.5? The TV's got digital out. I'll have a quick look.
I was just wondering that. Yeah, I know the TV has, because I do use my one of my Apple TVs that's in one of the lounge rooms with a stereo that I use that for doing whole of house audio through a different means. And I've got that.
I had to get an adapter for mine because I don't have anything that's got fiber in for the sound. So it has, it's only got 3.5. Oh no, analog and optical together.
Yes, I thought it had, because it's got the funny, so it has got the optical. So obviously you get the signal out, but I guess in order to complete your little homegrown Sonos that you would you would need ideally pad speakers, because otherwise then you're going into an amp and having to have speakers. That's starting to get a little bit cumbersome. I mean, that's the beauty of the Sonos. It's sort of got all of that capability, but it's a single unit that has your speaker, the wireless bit and the amp sort of all built in.
But it's still effectively it's still powered speakers, but aren't they?
Yeah.
Just that it's all in one, and
it's all good fun to tinker with, though.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been playing, looking at that sort of system, but using the Raspberry Pi instead of the Apple. But the hassle is Apple will change something on this software, and that'll
it will stop working.
Raspberry Pi made 6 months to get working again, whereas the Apple one will always work. They'll always work together, sort of thing. So.
And there's something to be said for that. if you just want things to work.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah. So also remember to follow us or like us on Facebook at Aussie Tech Heads, and also on Twitter at Aussie Tech Heads. And you can email any of us at aussiemaczone.com.au. So Jason at aussiemaczone.com.au, Michael at aussiemaczone.com.au, and sometimes even Glenn at aussiemaczone.com.au.
Every second week you can email Glenn.
Yeah, not every week.
You still get it if you got part-time at Aussie Mac Zone. You'd probably still get that too.
Yeah, that will get to Glenn too. Part-timer.
Yeah.
Very good. Any final stories we've got to round the night out?
No, I think that's me. Oh, there was one where, sorry, just because you brought up the rumoured iWatch before, is that Apple have just done another hire from Tag Heuer, the watch people, and
yes, very fine watches.
Yeah, they got the.
And if Tag Heuer are listening and want to send us in any demo units, we're quite happy to receive those.
That's right. That's what amazed me. Just say another tangent on that same subject. When you could get watch faces for your iPod.
Yep.
Yeah, which I use here. I was surprised that they didn't even sell watch, Tag should have been able to just sell watch faces that would work, just so they'd have their name out there. That's
a good point, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just. I just thought of that would be a way of marketing, for high end watches, by people like me who can never afford a $2,500 watch. I could have had a similar sort of watch face on my iPod for the occasions that I wear that as a watch, and still had their name out there.
That may be coming now that Apple's stolen. They're stealing all the people from those luxury type brands, aren't they? So they got Tag Heuer and Burberry does
that mean that the rumoured iWatch is going to be like a $2,000 watch?
It may well be. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
Very good. Well, I reckon that will wrap us up for another Tuesday night of Aussie Mac Zone. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll be back next week, even with Glenn, and I guess more stories, more questions, and more Aussie Mac fun. So we'll catch you next week, Michael.
Yes, looking forward to it. Thanks, mate. Well done.
Cheers, guys.